Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 VC review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Ironclad on the NEO.GEO, which if you've never played it before, it's a shmup or shoot 'em up, shmup obviously being the abbreviation, and thankfully it's one of the few shmups on the VC to actually have two-player co-op at the same time. It's not like take turns or anything, it's proper on the screen at the same time, which is good. It's just a shame that, to be fair, there's not more than two players. Anyway look, it's usual NEO.GEO startup. You get choice between easy, normal, hard or MVS, and it's just like the NEO.GEO games before it, meaning that there's no VC save on it. I always try to mention that just in case people have forgotten. But anyway, from there you basically start the game and you've got a choice of three ships. One's faster, one's basically average, and one's more powerful. I, to be fair, usually prefer the faster ships on these games, but I actually prefer the more powerful one on this one. And it's just, well, your usual shmup really. You've got, as you can see here on the map screen, a load of different choices and multiple paths to go, so depending on how, many times you play it, depends on what levels you're going to see and stuff like that, and it depends on how long the game's going to last you. Because I think a straight path left to right was 6 levels, and overall there's 15 to count of, and 6 proper commander bosses, because there's basically army generals and commanders and stuff like that. But anyway, so it is your standard gameplay, just left to right, kick the crap out of the enemies by blasting them. You've got a little option thing with you which you can fire off at any point and it'll do what it wants to, or you can hold the button that you fire it with and you'll call it back, and you can then charge up a powerful attack with it and it'll fire off, and then you have to again call it back. And it's just one of those things. It's very similar to a couple other shoot 'em ups like R-Type and that, so if you've ever played that you'll be able to jump straight into it. There's a lot of different weapons on it. You can get melee weapons like swords and drills, and you can also get proper missiles and lasers and burning weapons and stuff like that. So there's a few to basically choose from, and you just have to wait until they come out, collect them, and then bam, that's it. You've got an energy meter, which is one of those things that it seems to be rare on shoot 'em ups. So it's not a case of one hitting you dead, you will actually go down, and when you're about to die you'll be flashing, and you can collect energy, little energy orbs that either give you one or you can collect them to be max. You can collect those Ps which basically power your weapons up. You can collect levels to level your ship up and that, and it's just one of those things. It's just standard shooter really, only it's pretty good. The only downsides to the game that I've really got about it is it can be very dark in places, which can be hard to see, and you have to constantly bash the button to fire, and it's one of those things that I hate it on things like Alien Hominid, I hate it on things like Metal Slug. They're fantastic games, but I just can't stand constantly bashing the button to fire because it just gets so tiresome for your thumb, and with no VC save, it's one of those you've got to beat the game. Well, to be fair, you don't have to beat the game, it's not as if you get forced at gunpoint, but if you want to play through it, you've got to do it in one go, which means you're going to be fair, having to pause it a lot to take breaks for your thumb. At least I know I will be. Pretty much the final thing to mention about the gameplay of the game is that you can use a bomber system, which is basically that, and when you do that it gets rid of your weapons, so you have to use it wisely. But other than that, there's nothing really left to say, other than simply that if you like these sorts of games, and it's a good game, it's got some good length to it, it's got a bit of a challenge to it in places, especially if you put it on hard, and it's also got co-op, which is quite important for this genre for myself, because I love playing it on co-op. Simple as, really. So all I'll do now is leave you with a bit of the music, which is, it's okay, it's not exactly brilliant, but it's quite good. So that was a bit of the music, and seeing as it was on, I decided to might as well mention this. It's one of those, I said 6 proper bosses, but it depends on how you look at it, because there's actual commanders and generals and that you have to face, but then there's also these things here which are just trains, but they still are end of level bosses, so this basically it just depends on what your class is boss, really. So there we go then, that's been the review. I hope you've enjoyed it, or at least found it helpful. You might have noticed I didn't score the game. Well, that's because it's a matter of personal opinion, and yours may very well differ from my own. I'm just here to show you a bit about the game. If you like it or not, well, that's up to you. If you don't like it, or you do like it, feel free to comment. Also, if I haven't answered any of your questions that you may have had, I might have forgot something, or it might just be something obscure. Again, feel free to comment, ask, always willing to help out. Otherwise, if you don't like commenting on YouTube, head over to www.vc-forums.com, where you can chat with me and a bunch of other lads who love the VC, the WiiWare, and hell, even a lot of other systems. We cater to pretty much everything. You can just go there, have a chat about a game, ask about some games, etc. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.